Hey, my lovely friends. Thank you so much for tuning in with another practice today. Today's practice is going to be slightly different. We are holding space for self-love, for self-care. And what that's going to look like in our class is a bit of gentle, slow asana, so movement in our body, a bit of pranayama, breath work, and a deep shavasana, relaxation, meditation at the end, with a couple of prompts that you may like to journal on after this class. We will also be having some time for some self-touch, some self-massage. We will mostly be working with our face today, so you may like to wash your hands. If you also would like to bring in a neutral oil, maybe a vegetable oil. I'm using avocado oil. If you have a face oil, that's just going to make it a little bit more smooth, but you can absolutely do it with dry hands as well. And I'm just really excited about this class because we are really just going to tune in with ourselves. For me, self-love it's not about pampering myself, even though that is nice. It's about asking what I need most right now. It's about giving myself time and space for me to just sit in whatever I'm experiencing. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's start down on our backs. Also, if there's anything else that you'd like to bring into your space, maybe a candle, or I've got some incense burning, or maybe a blanket, then please feel free to. We're just going to roll ourselves down. Closing the eyes, taking this time to just breathe, just be here. If it feels comfortable for you, you may like to bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, and as you breathe in, just feeling the hands being pressed by the lungs and the diaphragm. And then feeling the exhale soften the lungs, soften the belly, the ribs. And using this hand position as a way to just connect with the heart space. How's the heart feeling today? Can you create space for anything to arise with no judgment, no attachment, just observing and seeing? Knowing that right here is exactly where you need to be. There's nothing that you need to change, nowhere else you need to be, no one else you need to be, apart from just being you, breathing here on the ground, on the back. Sometimes our heart can be overshadowed by external worldly experiences or feelings or things. We can get attached to many of these things, and sometimes that can make us feel lost. And it's all about just creating space for us to come home to ourselves. We'll just practice some gentle pranayama here. Prana is our life force in our yoga philosophy, and yama means to expand. So expanding our prana. We'll breathe in for a count of 6. We'll take a slight pause at the top. And we'll breathe out for the count of 6. And as we do this, can you just feel that expansion of energy, feeling yourself fill up, feeling yourself lift, and then feeling yourself soften and deepen on the exhale. Let's all exhale fully. Breathe in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight pause. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more rounds in your own time. Just returning to neutral inhales and exhales once you've completed your 2 rounds. Letting the breath be the anchor to this present moment. And then when you're ready, just release the left leg out towards the out extended. Start to draw the right knee towards the chest. Little hug, little squeeze of the shin towards you. Maybe it feels good to rock the knee from side to side here. And then when you're ready, just taking the left hand over the right thigh, gently draw the knee over towards the left. Maybe extend the right hand towards the side, right shoulder comes down. And part of our self-love space that we're creating for ourselves is just letting the natural forms of energy come out as they need to. So maybe you feel into the heart and your heart is telling you you want to cry at this moment, you want to be a little bit more energetic in this moment, then can you create space to let that be fulfilled? Let's come back through center. Extend the right leg out long, draw the left knee in towards the chest. Take the right hand over the left thigh, left hand extends towards the side, big breath in. As you exhale, draw the left knee over towards the right. Maybe the left ear touches down, left shoulder touches down. Feeling that big twist and opening through the thoracic spine. When you're ready, come back through center. Let's find a happy baby. Maybe taking the knees wide and just hugging the shins. If you felt like you had space, you could take the hands around the outsides of the feet. Drawing the knees down towards the ground, pressing the lower back down. Maybe a little shift from side to side or movement with the feet. Might feel nice to draw the feet together and take the knees out wide. And then when you're ready, just release the feet behind the hips, hands come by the sides. We'll make our way up into our Setu Bandhasana. Start by drawing the lower back towards the ground and use that motion to peel the pelvis off the ground, then the lower back, then the mid back, tucking the chin in slightly, squeezing the glutes, letting the knees travel over the toes. One more breath in. Exhale, lower yourself down. Just hug the knees up towards the chest. Take a little rock and roll up and down the spine if that feels good. And then when you're ready, just cross over the feet. Find your way onto your hands, take the knees wide, send the toes together, hips can come back over the heels, Balasana, child's pose. You can have your knees more narrow, you can spread them as wide as you would like. Can you honor yourself and what your body may be asking for here? Maybe you bring your forearms together and just stack the forehead on top of it. Maybe the temple comes down. Maybe it feels uncomfortable to linger in this stillness. But sometimes showing love for ourselves does not mean running after pleasure and just running after things that we like and we find easy. Sometimes self-love is showing up even when it feels uncomfortable, knowing that it will be so beneficial on the other side. When you're ready, let's roll ourselves up into a tabletop position. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Can you breathe in, drop the belly, lift the eye gaze, cow. Exhale, press away from the ground, belly button towards spine, cat. A couple more rounds in your own time. Maybe taking a little shift forward and back, maybe side to side. Letting this movement be an expression of you in this moment. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, just take a big step forward with both hands. Breathe in, start a ripple from your hips. Squeeze the glutes, lower your hips towards the ground. Soften the elbows. Find your way into a Sphinx pose. So elbows come underneath the shoulders. Extend the arms out long. So this is a subtle heart opener. Feeling a uplift and energy as we breathe in. And then as we exhale, can we try traction the elbows back towards our ribs. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the glutes slightly. One more breath here. Start to lower yourself towards the ground. Can you extend your right hand out towards the side? Left hand comes by the ribs. Breathe in as you, I'm just going to move this away. Here we go, don't want to catch on fire. Turn the left toes high, breathe in. As you exhale, start to press through the left hand. See if you can take the left foot behind yourself. So you're trying to Maybe bring the hand up towards shoulder height, although this may feel quite tight, and if you feel any sharp sensations, please back out. Just roll yourself down a little bit more. You can lower the hand a bit more. Alternatively, you can extend the arm over your head if you would prefer not to feel any sensation within the chest, and just focus on the twist and the opening through the hips. Option here to bind the left hand behind your back. Can you relax the jaw here and soften the eyebrows? Let's take one more breath. And then find your way back through center. Extend the left arm out long. Right hand comes by the ribs. We'll try that on the other side. Right toes turn high, breathe in. Exhale, start to open your soft towards the right. So try to peel that right knee far behind you, as far behind as you can. That's going to help the leg with the hips open, which will start to twist through the spine. Option to bring your hand behind, the right hand behind the back. That's going to help open the right shoulder. This opening of the front body is incredibly beneficial if you tend to sit down quite a bit, or a little bit more sedentary lifestyle. So good for all of the energy. Another deep breath here. Come back through center. Hands by the ribs. Press up onto your knees. Cross over your feet. Find your way onto your sit bones. Last deep stretch for the moment. Let's extend both of the legs out long. Inhale, sweep both hands high. Lift the spine long, and then as you exhale, tip from the hips. Letting the spine lengthen and then curl in when you can't land, or it can't lengthen anymore. Paschimottanasana. In this asana here, can you try breathe into the back of your ribs? We'll take about 5 more deep, long breaths here. And start to walk yourself back. Find a way into a Sukhasana, a seated position. We're going to start our self-touch part of the class. Now, it's not very often where we intentionally touch our body, our skin, and just notice and give love. And so that is what we're going to do here. If you've got your oil, then just bring it out in front of you. But first, we're going to just bring the hands around the head. Maybe the thumb comes around the temple. Just give your temple a little bit of a rub. And then perhaps you start motions of circles along the scalp. This is going to make my hair look so crazy afterwards, but it's so worth it. Maybe you start by just starting at the front of your hairline and just running fingers down. Maybe taking the thumb behind the ears with as much pressure as feels good. And then maybe you try the other way, just coming from behind the back of the neck, running our hands up. And we often wait until someone else can do this for us. Maybe that's a partner, maybe that's you're going to a massage place. And we've got our own hands, we've got our own time, or we can try and make time for ourselves to fulfill the needs of ourselves by ourselves. Now you can absolutely stay on this. If you wanted to use a little bit of oil, I would just recommend taking a really small amount. Just bring it into your hands. Just make sure that your fingers are clean. And just start by just rubbing the face in a few circles. Maybe you start in by the nose, then circle the fingers out towards the temples, towards the ears, then run your hand down your jawline. And so we've got quite a few lymph nodes within our face, down the underneath our jaw, and then down our throat. So these glands within the system, oh my gosh, I just said it before, but I totally forgot what the name is. Lymphatic. So they're responsible for basically draining waste from our body, and the more that we can stimulate the system, because very similar to our circulatory system, there are connections all around our body that are along, and we can encourage the movement of this with our hands. Just make sure that your touch is quite light. And then if it feels good, you could start to just bring your fingers down the neck. And so we've got a couple of lymph nodes at the top of our collarbone, so you could just palpitate, just bring a little pulse to the top of the collarbones if that feels good. You could do the side of the neck. One motion that I really like to do is grabbing one or two fingers, starting at the inner of the eye, then traveling down across the cheekbones, circling wide, then going behind the ear, then circling down below the jawline, and then down the neck. And if there are other movements that feel really good here, then just move there. Again, you're honoring yourself in this moment. You can try different ways of doing this. You could try using your knuckles. You could make little circles around the eye, so starting at the inner eye and then going up around the eyebrow, then coming back, then coming up and over around the forehead, and then coming back. Again, you don't want to use a lot of oil here. You can absolutely do this dry as well. If your love language is touch, I'm sure this feels so good for you. I'll just take another maybe 30 seconds to a minute here. Maybe you just press down the back of the neck. If you have a tight neck or trapezius muscles, maybe from sitting down or leaning forward or even just looking at our phones. Whew, that's the modern world, right? Oh, that was a lot of clicks, sorry. And then when you're ready, just releasing the hands down, closing down the eyes. And what we're going to do is just move our hands over the different parts of our body. And every place that we land, we're going to give a word of thanks to, a word of love, gratitude. So when you're ready, maybe hovering the hands over the face, or you can even just bring the hands down. Saying thank you. And then in your own time, just traveling down the body. So the direction that I'll be going in is along the neck, down the arms, down the front body, maybe down the back, down the legs. Maybe it's metaphorical in your mind. Maybe it's thank you for, maybe it's I love you because. Maybe it's just bringing touch to the different parts of our bodies. You make this practice for you. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. And if you would prefer ending your practice in a seated position like we are now, please feel free to. If you would prefer to lie down for our final moments of our practice, please feel free to. You can always come up halfway. What we'll do is that we'll have a couple moments of stillness, as well as an opportunity to almost improv, listen, respond. So maybe that feels like movement. Again, maybe that feels like something else that resonates with you. Otherwise, we'll just find our way, doing what we want to do for the next couple of minutes. After then, we'll finish with a couple of prompts just to lead out our practice. But I'll let you know when we come to that. Please feel free to stay lying down if this is where you feel most comfortable. If you would like to finish the practice in a seat, just gently rolling yourself up if you are lying down. Closing the eyes down once you've landed in a position that feels comfortable for you. Maybe again, the hands are by the sides, or you could bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, maybe two hands to the heart, maybe something else. With the prompts that I will be saying, just fill in the blank spaces once I've said them, just in your head. Although if you wanted to journal these now, you're more than welcome to, maybe after the class. I am proud of myself because I am proud of myself because I forgive myself for. I forgive myself for. The place where I need to set more boundaries is or the place where I can set more boundaries is. I am worthy of love because I am worthy of love because and the last one that we'll say today, the best way to support myself going into the rest of the day is through. The best way that I can support myself going into the rest of the day is through. Let's take some deep breaths. Those are some deep questions. The more space that we can create to ask them and to respond to them truthfully, the more that we can take action to be able to fulfill them ourselves. And for most of us, we are our primary caregivers. And especially if we have other primary caregivers such as children or parents or anyone else in your life that you may need to take care of, perhaps as your job. It's really important that we circle back to ourselves as the more space, time, love and connection we can bring to ourselves, the more that we can give to those other people. I thank you so much for practicing with me today, maybe trying something a little bit new. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. Thank you all so much. Namaste.